Have you ever walked past someone's house, maybe an older woman who lives alone, and noticed a smell that made you pause, wrinkle your nose, or even step back? Maybe you thought to yourself, how can someone live like that? Surely they notice it. But here's the thing, what you're smelling isn't always about laziness or being careless. It's more complicated, far more human than that. The truth is, women over 60 who live by themselves often experience a combination of physical, emotional, and environmental changes that can affect the way they and their homes smell. It's not just about forgetting to clean or skipping a shower. There's a deeper story behind it, one that most people don't talk about because it's uncomfortable. It's a story about aging, independence, and sometimes the loneliness that creeps in when there's no one around to notice the little things anymore. Our bodies change in ways that many people don't fully understand. Menopause, for example, doesn't just affect hot flashes or mood swings. It changes the chemistry of the skin, the way sweat is produced, and even how oils naturally coat the body. These changes are completely normal, yet they can alter our natural scent in ways that make it more noticeable, especially in a quiet home with closed windows and little airflow. Our metabolism slows as we age, meaning foods linger in our systems differently, digestive patterns shift, and even the balance of bacteria on the skin can change. What was once a faint, almost invisible odor can slowly become something that hangs in the air, unnoticed by the person living with it, but very noticeable to someone walking past. This isn't a failure of character, it's biology catching up with all of us, a subtle shift in how our bodies communicate with the world. Loneliness makes it worse. Humans are social creatures, and we often don't realize just how much other people influence the way we care for ourselves. When you live with someone, even a roommate or a spouse, there are tiny, constant reminders to keep things in order. You do laundry more often because the basket fills up. You wash dishes promptly because you're sharing a meal. You move around more, open windows, and maybe even take a little more pride in how you present yourself. But when someone lives alone, all of those little nudges disappear. Days blend into weeks, and habits that were once automatic slowly fall away, not because the person doesn't care about themselves, but because being alone, especially over a long period, is exhausting in ways most people don't understand. The emotional toll of isolation is real. It can make even simple things feel like mountains: cleaning a sink, scrubbing a bathroom, or changing bed sheets. Life becomes about survival and comfort, and the small details that keep a home and body smelling fresh take a back seat without anyone even realizing it. The conflict really starts to reveal itself when you step back and look at the emotional side of things. Society tells older women to stay independent, age gracefully, and take care of yourself, but independence can be lonely. When you live alone, there's nobody checking in, nobody noticing the small shifts in your routine. And over time, that lack of attention doesn't just affect habits, it affects the spirit. Feeling invisible can slowly sap motivation. You might know that the dishes need washing, that the bed could use fresh sheets, or that a shower would be a good idea. But when no one else notices, or when your own energy is low, the push to take action simply fades. It's a quiet, internal struggle, the part of you that wants to maintain order and dignity against the part that just wants to survive through the day. People judge the results, of course, often harshly, without ever knowing the story behind them. That judgment only deepens the conflict because it makes women feel ashamed, like failing in some way that is really out of their control. And shame is heavy. It's exhausting. It feeds the cycle of neglect and isolation. The practical realities layer on top of the emotional struggles. Many older women face physical challenges that make even simple cleaning tasks painful. Arthritis, back pain, or limited mobility can turn routine chores into painful, daunting projects. Fatigue comes easier than it used to, and energy reserves are lower. Combine this with financial constraints. Sometimes there's no extra money for cleaners or for products that might help maintain freshness, and small problems start to compound. Laundry piles up not out of sloppiness, but because it takes too long or is too tiring to do alone. Dishes sit in the sink longer because bending, lifting, or scrubbing has become a struggle. Even taking care of personal hygiene can feel overwhelming when there's no one else around to help, notice, or simply share the load of living. The smell, in this sense, becomes a symptom, a signal of these real human challenges piling up quietly, almost invisibly, until someone else finally notices it. But perhaps the most important thing to understand is that this is rarely a permanent state. Awareness, connection, and small interventions can make a world of difference. Smell and cleanliness aren't measures of character. They're reflections of circumstances, of isolation, of biology, and of life changes that most people don't see. If you're over 60 and living alone, simple steps like opening windows for airflow, breaking chores into smaller tasks, or inviting someone over for shared meals can reset routines without feeling overwhelming. If you know someone in this situation, even just checking in, offering a small bit of help, or spending time together can break the cycle of loneliness and give motivation a gentle boost. What feels like a small thing, a clean dish, a folded shirt, a shared cup of tea, can ripple outward, improving not only hygiene, but mood, energy, and dignity. Ultimately, what we're really talking about is respect. Respect for independence, for privacy, and for the reality of aging. Older women living alone are not failures. They're humans navigating a complex mix of biology, circumstance, and emotion. The smells, the messes, the small lapses in care, they are not moral failings. They are signals of something bigger, something that deserves empathy rather than judgment. Life after 60 is still full, vibrant, and capable of joy and confidence, but it sometimes needs a little extra support, a little understanding, and a recognition that independence doesn't mean isolation. We all age, we all face changes, and we all need a reminder that small adjustments, care, and human connection can transform not just the environment around us, but how we feel about ourselves. This is the hidden story behind why some older women over 60 may smell terrible when they live alone, and it's a story that deserves to be told with compassion, curiosity, and humanity.